Hey everybody, so I think I may have figured out one of my other issues. It was caused by me. It's kind of dumb sometimes. So I'm all about torquing stuff down and everything like that, and then I went to go put it on the intake manifold, and somehow I torqued down to everything else, like valve covers and everything like that, but then when I got to this, I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna tighten it down until it stops. Yeah, well, they have a torque sequence and they also have torque specs for this for a reason, and for some reason I decided to ignore them. Today I'm going to check and see if I cracked my intake manifold gasket, because even after putting these injectors in, I was still having issues with 7 and 8, and I had taken off this manifold previously, and at one point I was also having it on 2, and I got to thinking about it. It would move any of the times that I removed the intake manifold and put it back on. So I'm wondering if I've over tightened it down, because like I said, I went till it stopped. So yeah, you're not supposed to do that. I mean, it's first sequence is you tighten it down to 5 Newton meters, or if you have it inch pounds, it's, I don't remember what the inch pounds is, I only saw the Newton meters, and then you tighten it down to 10 Newton meters, and that's supposed to give you what you need. And then some people say that if you've milled the heads or anything like that, mine are not milled, so I'm gonna stick with that. But if they do, you may want to tighten them down to he said 120 inch pounds, not foot pounds, inch pounds. So yeah, and I gotta secure my battery. It keeps wanting to go places that it's not supposed to go. And but yeah, I guess I'm gonna pull this off and see if I screwed up my intake manifold gasket, and if I have to get a new one, which is a very possible thing. Which it sucks though, because I've done so much of this. I've taken this stuff off so many times, but I don't actually have to take the rails off. I'm gonna leave those in place. So I'm just gonna literally take off this and any of the connections to my fuel and breather, and then just take it right on off. I'm not gonna show you that because, I mean, you know how to take that off. So I'm gonna go ahead and jump at it. Okay, so it doesn't appear as though I have actually damaged anything. This would be, here, let's get this off real quick. So this would be number 7. Is it 7? Yeah, this would be number 7. I don't see any damage. I mean, there's no cracks I see or anything like that on 7. So it looks like I can reuse it, possibly. Now this is obviously the plastic one, and yeah, I mean, the plastic aren't the best because of that reason. And I might even just take this one and put it on the other side, put the other one over here if that works. I don't know if that's going to work that way. So I mean, yeah, it might. Yeah, I think it'll work. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that just to see, because then it puts, puts number 7 at number 1, or well, number 2, and it puts number 8 at number 1. So that's what I'm gonna go ahead and do and see if it follows, because if it goes up to number 1 and number 2, then I know it's intake manifold gasket. But if it still stays at 7 and 8 again, then obviously, you know, there's gonna be some looking that we need to do up in there. But like I said, I checked all that, and 150 psi or whatever of pressure in all the cylinders. So yeah, I mean, we'll see. Okay, so I've set it in there delicately. Whenever I got my kit that came with that gasket, it came with the new rubbers right here as well, and so those, I actually kind of forgot that I replaced those, but then I remember when I trying to take them out of here. So so what I'm gonna do is, first pass, I'm gonna start, and I'll pop up a little diagram real quick over in somewhere over here, and it shows you the sequence that you're gonna do. It's gonna be first pass 5 Newton meters, and then the second pass will be 10 Newton meters, and then some people say wait, and then like 10, 15, 20 minutes, and then come back and double check, because sometimes it settles. So that's what I'm gonna do, and hopefully that solves my problem. So I've made my first pass and my second pass. If you're wondering what the foot-pound conversion is, maybe you have just like a 3/8. Well, the 3/8 torque wrench is going to be just on the threshold. It's not going to be able to go down to, I believe it was 3.5-ish, or well, it was 4 foot-pounds for the first pass. I'm rounding, and then it's 7.5 actually for the second pass. Now the first pass I had an issue because mine doesn't go down to 4. The smallest it goes is to 5. So you really need a 1/4 inch torque wrench, because it's going to be able to go down the smallest. If you have a 1/2 inch, just forget it. You're not going to be able to do it. So yeah, I went ahead and I actually went with 5 foot-pounds on the first one, and then on the second one, now I had an extension on there, a 1/4 inch extension, so I probably lost at least 1 foot-pound due to the extension, I would think. I'm not 100% sure on that. And so then I did the second one I went ahead and bumped it up to 8.5, because I figured I could feel the torque in that extension that I was using, so I knew it was losing some. So like I said, I went with 8.5 on those because I needed the depth, you know, to be able to get down up in there. So now I'm gonna wait a little bit and I'm gonna recheck them, and then if that's good, then I'm just gonna hook everything back up. And well, actually, I'm just gonna hook everything back up while I wait anyways, and when I get done hooking everything back up, then I'll come in and do it, and then I'm gonna see how it's handling now. Just, you know, hey, look, they got torque specs for a reason, and that was my fault for not, you know, doing it the way I was supposed to. I did everything else with torque specs but that. So I like I said, I didn't think, with it being the cushions on the bolts and everything like that, that it wasn't going to be that big a deal. It was, apparently, or it could be. So I don't know if it was or not, but we're gonna find out. Rechecked it after I got everything bolted back up, and that one back there it went just a touch more. All the rest of them were fine, but that one in the back actually did move. I also replaced my line going to my PCV because it just felt really loose, and so I didn't want any excuses. I want this thing to run good, and hoping that it'll eventually stop hanging in RPMs. That's the goal. Like I said, I put this in properly. My gasket didn't appear to be damaged in any way, so hopefully let's crank her up and find out. Leaks appears. I mean, it still sounds, I mean, it was running on all 8 after I fixed all those clogs in the injectors. So the real test would be, is it still misfiring? But I took all those counts off, so I'm not keeping track of those. So I'm just gonna have to, I mean, I guess I could bring them back if I wanted to, but the thing I'm wondering is my hanging RPMs fixed? Because that's what I really want fixed. No, they're not. But I saw a tune on the HP Tuners repository, or library, whatever you want to call it, that was for headers and intake on a 5.3 for the same exact year, model, everything. So what I'm thinking I'm going to do is just examine that and see if there's any differences in the VE table, or maybe they did something with that. I don't really know. So I'm going to take a look at that, see if that, I just, like I said, I don't know. Because I know whenever I had my old 96, whenever I put headers and intake on it, I could literally let off the gas and idle up a hill. That's how bad it was. But then when I got my Hypertech, it went away. So I'm thinking that there might be something to do with the hanging RPMs with the headers and the intake. So I'm gonna go ahead and upload that tune, see if it fixes. I looked at that tune and there was nothing there to actually use. Everything was exactly the same as what I had. And I don't understand why everybody's so damn secretive with these tunes. It's like, everybody, like, if you ask somebody, they're like, well, buy the Greg Banish DVD. And I'm sure it's a fantastic DVD. It probably teaches you a lot of stuff. But spending $250 on a DVD just doesn't, yeah, it just doesn't sound like something I want to do. But I mean, I guess that's what I need to do, since everybody wants to be so secretive about it, in order to tune my stuff here. So, but I have noticed that I'm not getting any more misfires. I guess I don't have it where it's showing the counts or anything like that, but it's been sitting here for a while, and I checked the error codes, and I am not getting the error code for misfires. I also took care of a few other error codes that I should have taken off previously. something to do with because whenever you install headers, a lot of times you'll get issues with the O2 sensors. It'll be like slow response and stuff like that, insufficient activity. And so what some people will do is they'll go in there and tell those to not report any errors on those particular things. Like, so I still have it where it's reporting if I have a high or low voltage, but it's also letting me know if my heater circuit has an issue, if it's stuck or anything like that. But as far as no activity or insufficient activity or slow response, any of that, it's not telling me none of that. I don't need to know that. And apparently I had a fuel sensor error that I forgot to get rid of, so I got rid of that too. So now when I check, all I have is my mill light error, which I need to figure out, because all I need to do is wire in an LED. That's literally all I need to do. And you just run, I believe all I have to do is run a power to the LED and then run the wire from, I'll look into how, it should not be that hard. Literally all it's doing is when the mill light comes on, it's closing it's creating a ground, and that's what causes the light to come on. So I just gotta, like I said, I just gotta hook that up. But I've been letting it idle for a while now, and she sounds great. Like, I mean, she sounded great the other day, but man, I'm just so pleased that I'm not having to, you know, I'm not getting the misfires anymore. Like, it's been idling for a while now. So she is ready to start being cleaned up for the car show. Now, that's gonna be a whole nother thing. I don't know if I'm not sure if I'm gonna show you all that or not, but yeah, I mean, it's gonna be a lot of little stuff. Like, I want to try to, like, there's nothing I can do with these fender paint right here, because somebody, the previous owner or one before that, actually came in and rattle canned that. But this is still original paint. This is still original paint, and I kind of just want to see what I can do with it. Like, I'm not really expecting anything fantastic, but if it wasn't so dull, that'd be fantastic. I mean, I'm not, there's rust up here and stuff like that, so I'm not like I said, it's just something I want to see. I just want to see what it does. So I'm gonna take it for a ride. I'm not gonna take y'all with me just because, unless I'll take you with me, but you'll only see if there's an issue. Well, never cease to have issues. One issue I probably should have taken care of while I had the intake manifold off was the knock sensors. I just got a knock sensor 2 circuit error, which probably means that the harness that connects to the sensor has either come loose or is barely on there, which means I gotta take the intake manifold off again. I'm only like 50th time I've had to take that intake manifold off in like the past 2 weeks, so I get to retorque all that stuff down. It's gonna be fantastic. I think I'm just gonna go ahead and buy some new knock sensors and the harness and everything like that, because they just get really dry rotted and old. So whatever. Whatever at this point, you know. So I'll fix that too, but hey, at least I'm not misfiring anymore. Whatever. Later, guys.